there is no doubt that this will hit Alberta with greater severity than many other parts of the developed world. That is why the Government of Alberta is acting boldly with a series of measures to keep cash in the bank accounts of Alberta families and to reduce the financial stress on Alberta employers at this very challenging time. Our first priority remains the health of Albertans. The second priority is their financial security. And our third priority is the overall future of our economy. Tonight, I will be joining the newly structured Alberta Economic Recovery Council, made up of some of our leading business leaders and thinkers to begin developing strategies for emerging from the significant downturn that we are facing. But today, I announced a series of concrete and practical measures that include the launching of an emergency payment program of $573 for Albertans who are facing self-isolation and who are not receiving employment insurance benefits. That will be available online next week at alberta.ca. That is in addition to amendments that we've recently made to the Employment Standards Code that protects workers for 14 days if they have to leave their employment in order to go into self-isolation. We have worked with Alberta Treasury branches to ensure that a deferral of ATB loans, lines of credit and mortgages is available for up to 6 months for people who apply who have been affected by COVID-19. We are working with the provincially regulated credit unions to offer the same relief. We thank the major chartered Schedule A banks for having announced a similar package of financial relief to Canadians, including those here in Alberta, both households and employers. We are matching the Government of Canada's deferral of corporate income tax until August 31st of 2020. That will leave $1.5 billion in cash available to Alberta employers as they cope with this challenging time. We are providing a deferral of 6 months for interest-free moratorium on Alberta student loan payments for all individuals who are in the process of repaying these loans. And we are, most importantly, have worked through the Alberta Utilities Commission with our electricity and gas providers to ensure a deferment of bill payments for the next 90 days to ensure that no one will be cut off from these services during this time of crisis. This will cover, as I say, electricity and natural gas, regardless of the service provider. And we've approached the municipal governments to ask if they could match this flexibility for water consumers. This list of actions is very meaningful, but it is by no means comprehensive. We will be announcing additional actions tomorrow and in the days to come. The bottom line for Albertans who are feeling anxious right now is they need to know that there is relief. There is immediate relief on their utility bills, immediate relief available on their mortgage payments. There is, for former students, immediate relief for their student loans. For businesses, there will be greater flexibility on their loans and on access to credit. And for individuals who are in self-isolation, who do not have any other form of financial safety net, there will be an emergency payment available to them from the Government of Alberta next week. So these are initial measures. We, as I've said, will, first of all, spare no expense in the medical fight against the pandemic. And secondly, we will do everything we can as a government to help Albertans get through the challenging days ahead. It's my duty as Premier to offer people a sense of hope, but it's also my obligation to be realistic and honest. I believe there are reasons for hope, strong reasons for hope, that we'll come out of this stronger than ever. But this is going to take some time. And I think Albertans need to start to wrap their heads around that. Our scientists project that the viral infection in Alberta will peak about 4 or 5 weeks from now. That means it will hopefully start to decline in its intensity after that, but still pose a very real threat to public health well into May and then into June. And so many of the social distancing measures that we have had to implement are likely to be in place at least through the end of May. Now, I can't say that with absolute certainty. Let's hope we get some very lucky breaks. Let's hope that the aggressive social distancing measures that we have implemented to date prove to be extraordinarily effective. Let's hope we reach the peak earlier and it affects fewer people than we are projecting. But to be realistic, based on the velocity of this disease around the world, we can expect this to pose a very real threat to public safety for at least the next 2 or 3 months.